It started with a shovel and a lie. 3 weeks ago, I woke up to find my wife standing in the backyard under a full moon, her hands trembling, dirt smeared across her nightgown. She said she was planting herbs, but I didn't see any seeds. Just a fresh patch of soil she hurried to cover when she saw me watching. Since then, our dog, Charlie, a rescued golden retriever with a nose sharper than his bark, has been obsessed with that very spot. Every morning, like clockwork, he's out there digging. Tail stiff, ears twitching, paws flinging dirt like he's racing against time. And every morning, my wife yells at him to stop. But he won't. That's when I started to pay closer attention. I wasn't always the man people see now, clean-shaven, well-dressed, living in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Not long ago, I slept under bridges, ate out of trash cans, and knew the weight of every coin in my pocket. I was invisible to the world. People crossed the street to avoid me. The same people who now nod politely from their porch swings, unaware that the man they once ignored is a self-made millionaire in disguise. My fortune was never loud. I wore my past like armor and let my silence do the talking. But sometimes, silence invites suspicion. And lately, everything about my wife screamed suspicion. It wasn't just the digging. It was the way she'd jump when I walked into a room. The locked drawers. The sudden change in passwords. The calls she took outside, where she thought I couldn't hear her whispering. He doesn't suspect anything. She didn't know I once lived on the streets. That I learned to read people like survival manuals. That I survived betrayal long before I knew her name. So I waited. I watched. One night, I followed her. She snuck out just after 2 a.m., clutching a flashlight and something wrapped in a tattered old towel. I stayed hidden behind a shed as she crouched beside that same patch of disturbed earth. Her hands moved quickly, her breathing sharp. And then I heard it clink, metal on metal. She was digging something up, not burying it. And Charlie? He sat beside me, quiet as a shadow, eyes locked on her. The next day, I confronted her. Not directly, just questions. Casual ones. What was she doing out so late? Why did Charlie keep returning to that spot? Her answers were rehearsed. Tight. Like she was clinging to a script. But her mistake wasn't in the lie. It was under the dirt. That evening I dug. Charlie barked beside me, tail wagging like he was proud I'd finally figured it out. The shovel hit something solid, a box. Old, rusted, locked with a latch that looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Inside, I found a stack of envelopes. Each one marked with a different name. Each one filled with cash, newspaper clippings, and photos. Dozens of them. Photos of me. From years ago. Homeless. Begging. Sleeping on benches. And with them, notes scribbled in her handwriting. Target identified. Make contact. 7-Eleven coffee shop. Gain trust. Observe behavior. Secure assets. Await further instruction. I dropped the box. The woman I married. The one who nursed me back to health, who said she loved me when I had nothing. She had chosen me. But not by fate. By design. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the living room, staring at the door, waiting for her to return. She did, just before dawn, her face pale, lips trembling. You weren't supposed to find that, she whispered. Then what was I supposed to find? I asked. What's buried beneath all of this? Her eyes flicked to Charlie, then to the box on the table. She opened her mouth to speak, and that's when the doorbell rang. 3 men in suits stood outside. One flashed a badge. Federal. We've been tracking her for years, he said. She was part of a psychological operation, targeting individuals with hidden wealth. They never knew they were being profiled. I looked at my wife. Tears streamed down her face. It started as a job, she said. But then, I fell in love. I wanted to believe her. I needed to. But love built on lies is a house with no doors, only traps. They arrested her that morning. But the story didn't end there. A week later, I received a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a single photograph. My wife, smiling unbound, standing in front of a sunset somewhere warm. On the back, a message. There's more buried than you think. Look deeper.
So I did.
I returned to the backyard, dug 6 feet down, and found another box. Not filled with photos.
But deeds. Codes.
GPS coordinates. Secrets worth millions. She knew everything. My offshore accounts. My aliases. Even the real reason I faked being homeless to disappear from the world. But she hadn't taken a single cent. She left the truth. And with it a choice. Expose her. Or follow her clues. So here I am, passport in hand, standing at the edge of another mystery. My wife buried something in the backyard, and now I know she buried more than secrets. She buried a new beginning. But I still don't know. Was she saving me? Or was this just another chapter in a story I was never meant to finish? And Charlie? He's still out there digging.
But now,
I'm not sure what he's trying to uncover. Or who. Like, share, and comment if you want to see what happens when I follow the next clue. Trust me, the story's far from over.